welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Allie. For those of you who don't know me, I am the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, and I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. Today's video is going to be a market prep with me for the week. I'm going to be doing crochet all week long, hanging out in the house. It is going to be pretty cold out and a potential for snow, so I'll be staying where it's warm. I just got some unfortunate news the other day that the market in March that I was prepping for and getting excited for, I actually got waitlisted to. So that came as a shock. I've done that market for the past 2 years, so I thought it was a shoo-in. So now that leaves only my June market that I have signed up for. I do need to work on signing up for markets. I've just been procrastinating that because I'm not sure what I want to do this year. I'm getting a little nervous by whether people are going to be holding on to their wallets again this year like they were towards the end of the year last year. So I'm nervous to sign up for markets. I need to get on that because that is my main source of income. But I have a call with my business friend here in about half an hour, so I'll chat with her and see where it goes from there, and hopefully I'll be willing to commit to doing markets. But so because I don't really have a market, I think this week's just going to be fun things that I want to do. I'll probably get into doing some new patterns that I've wanted to do for a while, and just, you know, I'm still market prepping. I'll have these whenever I do have a market. It's just off in the horizon. Today is February 10th, so that is quite a ways away from my June market. I do have some I can sign up for in like April and May, so I'll probably do that, but by the time I have a market, I'll have a hefty amount of inventory, it seems. So I think to start today off, I'm going to do a temperature snake for 2025. Will I regret this? I don't know. It is the year of the snake. I was tempted last year in 2024 to do a temperature snake, and with it being the year of the snake, why not? So I have my yarn picked out, and I have a spreadsheet here with, so far for the year, the colors. It looks like it's going to be a lot of green, because it's been in the 40s and 50s here in Denver, which is interesting. But we'll get some colder colors this week, so I guess we'll get started on that, and I'll show you my yarn selection. These are the yarn colors I chose. So down here we have the coldest temperature, and then all the way to the top. Black would be if it's over 100 degrees, which happens sometimes here, but not too often. And then I'm going to do the head in white. So we have a nice color gradient, with the reds being the darkers, oranges. The yellow and green is kind of what throws me off, and then the blues into a dark navy blue for the super, super cold days. So I'll get started on that snake, and I'll catch up with you when I'm tired of doing the snake. And then we might not finish the full month in, almost a half, but I'll see how far I get today. Alright, so I just got off the call with my business friend, and, you know, we just came to the conclusion that, you know, I just need to go for it. So this week I will be applying to markets. I will be filling them out. And then we're going to check in again on Friday. Today's Monday, just to make sure, because neither of us really did what we said we were going to do for our goals. But while on that phone call, I worked on my temperature snake. And I got most of the way through January. Let me check how far I got. I got through January 25th done, so not too bad. I'll get a little closer so you can kind of see the snake. So we have a lot of greens in there, and then down here we just had like a different temperature every day. So I could keep going on that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pivot and do more market prepping. So I shall move this box of all the yarns I was using. And I think what I'm going to do, that is the Twisty Snake pattern by Crochet Grove. So while I bought that, I also bought her new Sea Creatures pattern that just came out. So I think what I'm going to do is work on a couple of these. I'm also simultaneously doing a how much yarn can I use in the month of February. So one moment. While I was putting some yarn away that I had bought earlier this month, I ran out of room on, I have a blue and purple shelf. So these yarns I pulled off the shelf. I have no idea what this yarn is. This one is one of the like dot ones. Used to be the Dino Burnout, but now it's the dots. But I don't care for this yarn. So I think I'm going to turn these into the dolphin, and we'll see how many we can make. I do really appreciate a lot of the patterns in here. I'll definitely do the clam, the shark, the whale, dolphin, seahorse. I'll probably try out that turtle, the sea star, and the crab. I already have a small seal and a small clownfish. Ooh. But I might check those out and see how I like them compared to what I have. And I also have a puffer fish, but yeah, so maybe this week I'll see how many of these I get done. And then, because again, I don't have a market in quite a bit, I'm just going to do what I want. So yeah, today we're going to do dolphins. Hopefully I can get through all of this yarn, and I'll figure out the pricing too. So when I do a new pattern, I like to make it at least one time, and then just to make sure I understand how the pattern works. And then the second time I will weigh my yarn before and then weigh it after as well as time myself make it, so that I can charge accordingly, because I do so based on materials and time it takes me. And then we'll see if this is enough to make hopefully one. It'd be great if it made two, but I doubt it. I think this will make me one. Hopefully we can get like 3 out of this, 3 or 4, and then 1, and see where we go from there. So I'll catch up with you in a little bit. So I just finished the first one, well, all of the parts for it I finished. And I did the math, and it was, I believe, about 42 grams of yarn per dolphin. So this will get me 2 more, so 3 total. Oops. And then this will get me 1. So I'll have 4 when I'm finished. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make all the parts, and then I'll sew all 4 together when I'm done. So I'll go ahead and tie myself now for the second one, and then I'll have to tie myself when I sew them together. But yeah, so far we're going to be able to make 4 out of these, and then I won't have very much left of either. So that's really good for my using up my scrap yarn that's just sitting on my shelf. So I can definitely tell this one's a little older. It's not rough, but it's not the softness that they currently have. And I have literally no idea what I use this for, so it's definitely been on my shelf for a while. And I'll get to finishing this up. It is now 3:22, and I just finished my 4 dolphins. And after I was done with these, I had a little bit left of both yarns, so I made 2 octos. This one didn't quite have enough yarn for the tentacles, so there are 2 different color tentacles, and hopefully somebody will love that. But after all of that, we only have this much left, so a pretty good day of using up scrap yarn. Happy Tuesday! So I think today I'm going to continue on with the sea creature bundle. Today I think I'm going to start with some red crabs. So I'll probably make like 4 or 5 just to start out. And then yesterday we made our 4 dolphins, and we also have our 2 octos. So slowly working on building stuff up, and I'll get to crabbing. A little bit of an update. I finished the first body for the most part. I still need to sew it shut, and then it has you surface crochet on the claws. But I was just in the mood to apply to markets and that's something I have been dragging my feet on. So it's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours since I last checked in with you. This did not take nearly that long, but it's now 12:45, so I'm going to go ahead and go eat some lunch, and then I'll come back and actually focus on crocheting. So yeah, it's now Wednesday. It's 11 a.m. and I have been working a little, but it's definitely a realistic week in my life. Yesterday I finished the burnout blanket crab, and I don't really like it. So I made it again, but in posh this time, and it's cuter, but I still don't think it's my kind of vibe. It was adorable in the pattern, but you know, not everyone's a winner. So I finished these two. This one I made most of the way yesterday, and I finished it this morning. And that's all I've accomplished. So I also have been applying to markets and, you know, doing things that need to get done, but, oops, now he's on the ground. I don't know. There's just something mentally that I'm just not in the mood to crochet right now. So I'm debating whether I want to keep trying to push or whether I want to maybe go edit today. I might, yeah. We're gonna move to the other room. That's what we're gonna do. First, I just want to show off my adorable cat. I absolutely love when she sleeps in this squishmallow bed. So thank you, Jennifer, for doing that for me. So I have been holding on to this for a little bit. I am hoping to start making resin safety eyes this year. So I have all of the materials I need. First of all, I have, this is a gummy bear mold. Somebody recommended they like to pour their extra resin in here and make stitch markers out of them, which I thought was brilliant. So I have some chunky holographic glitters. These are my safety eyes. I started off with 30 millimeter just to see if I'm going to stick with it, and I figured starting with a big surface area was the best way to start. This is my drill to make the stitch markers with, so we'll do that later. I also have the hooks for the stitch markers. And then the person used this, they recommended this UV resin starter kit. So it has the resin, the UV light, and a little a mat to keep my space clean, and a little bucket to mix in so that I can get started with that. So hopefully this goes well. This is my first time trying it. As you can see, I haven't opened anything yet. And then the last couple items, I have multi-chrome mica powder. They called it Chameleon. So I love specialty nail polish, like if you haven't noticed. Hopefully you can kind of see this one. I love color changing and holographic, so with my chunky glitter, it is a shame because not all of it is holographic. There's a couple iridescent, but that's okay. And I know when I market them that they're iridescent and not holographic. So that's one of my slight pet peeves, is when people call anything color changing holographic. It's not. So, and then lastly, the fun part, holographic glitter, 28 colors. So I haven't yet opened it fully, but all of the colors I've looked at have truly been holographic. So that's exciting. I'm gonna set my stitch marker stuff aside, and then we'll get to going. First I'm going to put my mat out because it would be a true shame if I got my kitchen table dirty. Oh, and it's sticking to itself. I wonder if that means it'll be good at sticking to the table. Like, look at that. I'm having to pull really hard. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, there we go. Let me put my watch on mute. I have a group chat going off right now. Alright. Let's look at the glitters. So we have a yellow glitter here. Now, the best way to see hollow is to use a flashlight, so I'll try not to blind the camera. But as I shine the flashlight on it, you can see the glitter become a rainbow. Whereas, I'll use a chunky glitter as an example. So this one here, you can see the rainbow bouncing off of it. Hopefully you can see it okay. And then this one's iridescent, so it's like shining back another color, but not shining back a rainbow. It's one of the easiest ways to look. Alright, so we have a gold. This one's called a laser dark pink. Pinkish. I guess I'll show them all to you. There's the dark pink. And then we have, this one's just called pink. Most of them have laser in front, but I think all of them are going to have laser in front. Yeah, light purple. Hopefully you can see okay. I know I'm a little backlit. I tried my best to shut the blinds, but... Okay, so we have green gold versus light gold. You can kind of see this one's more green, but it's interesting. Then we have red, wine red. You can't really see, can you? I'll do a close-up of them after I pull them all out. Please forgive the mess of my table. So interestingly, the most amount was pinks and reds. So lots of variety in there for pink. And then we had an orange. Nope, focus. And then there are multiple golds. So nothing was called yellow. So here's orange, copper. Then we have rose gold, diamond laser gold, laser gold, laser green gold, laser light gold. So lots of gold. No actual yellow, but I mean they're pretty yellow. It doesn't look it on camera, but then we have two greens. We have light green and regular green. Two like tealish colors. Light teal blue and mint blue. And then we have this beautiful laser blue. These more dark blues. Then we have purples. And then what I'm most excited for, well, so we have two silvers, slightly different. They did give us a brown called coffee. This one claims to be brown, but it looks pretty black in the bottle. But what I'm excited for is there is a black hollow. So let me shine the flashlight on these real quick. And I've already gotten glitter everywhere. So black and silver are going to be the most obvious silvers we can see. Or not silvers. The most obvious holographics we can see. So now we have all of those out. Now I laid out the chunky glitters with the finer glitters. So we've got also quite a bit of pinks in the chunky. Not really an orange, but there's this goldish one. A green, a teal. This one's like blue, purples, and pinks. And then we do have a purple to like iridescent blue. And then there is a silver and a black. And then this one is like a white to pink, so we'll have to figure out what that goes nicely with. Probably the pinks as well. I'm about to pull out the mica powders, but if you can see, my hands are already covered in glitter, so definitely going to have a glittery house, which is cool with me. I love glitter, but we'll see how my fiance feels when he sees glitter everywhere. And lastly, I sorted out the 20 colors of mica powder. So again, we have our pink section. These ones were kind of hard to do because they are color shifting, so we'll see if I change my mind after I start experimenting. But we have our pink section, our orange, which is probably going to be pushed into gold. So we got 3 colors of mica powder for that. Greens, teals, blues, purples, and then I did have a brown. So we'll have to see what color I decide to put silver and black with. But now I'm going to experiment, and I'll check in with you once I've done a couple of eyes. Alright, so I definitely need to get some more tools, but I've done 1.5 pairs. So I know I need to order gloves. I will be ordering gloves. But this is UV resin, but for some reason it's drying in the air. So I need to figure that out. But I finished this pair. It's a little hard to see, but I think it definitely needs a layer of paint underneath because it's a little transparent. But not bad for a first try. But I did notice that you can't see the chunky glitter through it. So on this pair, I did a clear layer with glitter first. And then I did 1 layer of the backing color, which it needs more of those layers, but that resin dried up, so I'm going to come back to this another day. I also got resin on the front, and I was trying to figure out how to clean it before I cured it, but I messed it up, so this is definitely going to be a learning curve, but I'm very excited to learn how to make resin eyes. And yeah, let me actually make a gummy bear stitch marker first and see how that goes. Alright, and so now I have 2 little gummy bears, and I have the pieces to make the stitch markers in here, but I am not sure where my pliers are right now, so I'm just going to put those in there, and hopefully I can find my pliers here soon. Another goal that I can go through is I have all of this acrylic yarn that I'm trying to go through. So I've been making ear warmers with them, and I went through around Christmas time and bought a bunch of variegated ones to go with the solids. A lot of my solids are impeccable yarn, which this intro knitting machine doesn't like. So I'm going slowly and trying to pair them nicely. So I have this bag. Some are partial skeins, some are full skeins. And I have this down here, which is all of my big twist solids. So I don't necessarily need to get rid of these, but they're an option if I need to pair them. So another thing I'll be going through this month is using my knitting machine to make some ear warmers. I spent a little bit of time after lunch whipping up some ear warmers just because I wasn't in the mood to do anything else. So I whipped up 3 of them, and then I do have one on that I got partway through, but I got bored. And I had 2 that I had made previously that I went ahead and sewn into the tube. So another day I'll go through and actually sew these together, but for now they can go on the shelf. And while I was doing that, I was checking my phone, and I saw that I had a credit card transaction go through, and that's how I learned that I got into a market. So it was actually pretty fast. I applied yesterday to a big festival over Memorial Day weekend, thinking, you know, they're going to email me and then I can confirm yes or no I'm doing it, but that's not how this one worked. When I had applied for it, I paid the application fee, and then it said 50% of the booth fee was due upon acceptance, and the other half is due whatever day, you know. And so yeah, apparently I am now in a market, so good for me. It boosted my mood. I try not to let market applications and denies affect my mood, but unfortunately it's just the reality. So it's now 2:40. Now I'm definitely in the mood to make again. And I am going to trivia tonight, so I might crochet at trivia just because there's so much of a, between questions there's such a big gap of just downtime. So I like to bring my yarn with me just so I can have something to do with my hands while I'm sitting there. So I've been thinking a lot about this sea star and the back to the sea creature pattern from Crochet Grove. This week might just end up being me doing all of these patterns. So I'm also trying to bust a bunch of my yarn stash this month. So her example one is like a peachish color, and I know I have a lot of oranges and yellows that I need to go through. So let me take you over to my yarn shelf with me and we'll pick out colors. This is the current state of my orange-yellow shelf. There's just a lot of stuff shoved into this half. I had an order for a lesbian jellyfish, I think it was, and they no longer sell the colors I used to use for the flag, so I bought an ombre yarn and I cut it into the colors. So now as a result I have a bunch of, like I believe this is from it. So we'll pull that guy out, hopefully we don't drop stuff. So here's one. I should have grabbed a bucket to put this in. Let's see, let's use this. This color has been discontinued, but I do have 2 more full skeins down here of it. What else? This guy I like to use for tabby cats, so we're not going to use it. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to set that tabby aside. This is what fell, so maybe we'll use it. I do want to try to keep my lesbian colors, so after I pull it all out, I'll figure out which ones go to the flag and then which ones are extra. So I pulled quite a bit of yarn. This is probably way too much, or maybe I'll really love this sea star pattern. In case you didn't know, the biology community is trying to move away from calling them starfish anymore because they're not fish. So sea star is the now term that they are trying to push. So we pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors. And we'll see how far we get in these. I finished my first sea star. Now, like all the other patterns so far, it's bigger than I thought. I mean, I know that I'm just looking at a picture here, and I believe, yeah, she uses Parfait Chunky for a lot of them. Looks like this one was, never heard of that yarn before. But I'm going to keep going. Yeah, this is a decent size. They're almost life-sized in Bernay Blanket, so I probably used about half. I can figure that out. I did measure this. But I'll see how many sea stars we make. It wasn't too bad to make. The longest part is just making all 5 of the arms, and then the middle is literally like 4 rows. So, and then you do it on both sides. So not bad at all. It is now Thursday, so let me show you what I got done at trivia last night. So reminder, these 2 are the ones I finished on Wednesday, and then I brought all of the yarn that I had pulled. I went ahead and measured it all to make sure that there was enough yarn, which all of it had enough for one except for this guy, so we'll have to find something else to do with it. But I didn't bring eyes or stuffing or my needles, so I got these 3 done, just the front. And then today I'll have to finish up the back. These 3 I never got to. And then I got, actually I did 5 legs yesterday. This ball has enough to make 2 sea stars. So I'm just going to go ahead and make all of the 8 legs, and then I will form the 2 together. I still have to time myself for how long the back takes as well as the front, so that's why I did it this way. So I will keep working on these guys. While I work on this though, so today is February 13th, And the Joanne information has now been updated. Hopefully when you're seeing this, because I am filming, like, I have a bunch of videos, so this will come out probably towards the end of March. Hopefully you can look at this video and laugh at me and it all turned out just fine. But the information came out this morning that they're closing 500 stores. And my local store is one of those. Which is fine, because I saw, there's still the 300 locations, and I have one that's a 26-minute drive is what it said, which I can live with. And then I stumbled upon someone who informed us that this is not the end result. It's still possible, or they're still getting sold. And it seems like all of the bidders are resellers, or are liquidators. So hopefully Joanne is still around. I do have Parfait chunky yarn on its way, so I can give that a try. I've tried the chenille yarn from Michaels before, and I didn't care for it. I was having issues with my magic ring snapping all the time, which maybe there's something wrong with my tension, but I never have this issue with burnout, so it could be me. That was also a while ago. I do have a bag over there of it, so maybe I'll pick it up again. It's literally just been sitting in a corner of my room for a while. But it's just been a roller coaster of a week. So not every week am I on my A game when it comes to market prepping. As you saw earlier, this week I was affected by my wait list for a market that I've done before that I was really counting on. And then yesterday I got the news I got into a really big 3-day Memorial Day market. So I've just had all the highs and lows this week. So hopefully Joanne can stay. I would love to continue using Burnet, and I know they're not the only distributor. I was at Walmart the other day and I looked at their yarn aisle. They do have some of the colors I use. And then I was looking at Michael's website this morning for what colors they have. And it seems they have quite a few online, so I might just have to start ordering online. If it wasn't in the single digits today, I might go out and just see what my store has in person at that Michael's. But it is cold, so maybe when it gets warmer out, let me see. Okay, apparently tomorrow's a high of 51. So yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll go out and just see what they have in person. It's all going to be okay. There's alternatives. I can always switch to a different type of yarn. I probably won't have to. As long as I can get my main colors that I use all the time. Like, obviously I need white and black, which I know for sure Walmart has those at the very least. Walmart also is cheaper, but I'm trying not to buy my yarn from Walmart. I'd like to buy it from an actual craft store. I do buy my 20 pounds of stuffing from Walmart because they are by far the cheapest. Even when I have a 40% off one item coupon from Joanne, it's still cheaper to buy the 20-pound box from Walmart. But aside from that, that's the only thing I buy from Walmart at the moment. Michaels has some Burnet. I know I've ordered Burnet on Amazon before, but they don't have coupons on Amazon. My prices do reflect me buying yarn at full price. I do that on purpose because it builds in extra profit margin, and I'm not always going to be able to buy it on sale. Michael's also doesn't have as many sales as Joanne does. I'll figure it out, you know? It's not the end of the world. We've got a full bookshelf right now. I think the biggest issue is just going to be the Big Twist Posh. I really hope if Joann's goes out of business that yarn can move elsewhere, because I love the Posh. And that's what I started making my crochet kits with. And my temperature snake is made with Posh. That was probably a bad idea. I think at the very least I'll go buy all of the colors for my snake, another skein of them. Maybe a second skein of the hot colors. I don't know. I'll figure it out. If you have yarn that you like using, go ahead and comment it down below. And I'll probably, whether Joanne stays or not, go ahead and try out a bunch of other yarn. Like I mentioned, I have Parfait Chunky coming in the mail. I think I have both Chanel and whatever the two different ones that Michael's has. I believe I have both. I've been debating trying out Crochet Me Zaddy's yarn, but it's sold out a bunch, which is understandable. And also, I don't know how I feel about the shipping fee. I understand that it's coming from Australia, so there's going to be a big shipping fee. So that's part of why I haven't gone ahead and ordered the yarn yet. I just don't want to pay for shipping. So let me know what yarns you think I should try out, and who knows, maybe I'll become a fan of a different yarn. But I'm going to keep working on the Sea Stars, and it looks like I'll end up having, I think these two, when I measured, had enough to do 2. Anyways, I'll see how much I can get out of this, but we'll have a very colorful army of Sea Stars. So I'll catch up with you in just a little bit here. I have now finished. I managed to make 12 of them from what I had. This one I technically lost Yarn Chicken. I had one more single crochet decrease that I skipped in order to be able to still sew it shut. But the rest of them all still have a little bit left of their skeins. So hopefully I can make something with them. This one at the very least I have 2 more full skeins of, but the rest of them I'll have to figure out what to do. Happy Friday, February 14th. So last night I finished up most of those extra skeins I had. So I have a bunch of these two-toned, I don't know what to call them, pocket octos to use that up. I do have a little bit left of this pink that I'll probably pair with this, and then we'll move on to something new. Last night I was talking to my partner about the Joanne situation. I'm not sure, I believe I talked to you yesterday a little bit about this, but I was telling him I was debating whether or not I wanted to go yarn shopping today, because I'm trying not to panic buy, but also I'm pretty sure Joanne is going under. And he said, well, I'll go with you tomorrow. So we're going on the most romantic Valentine's date that I could think of, yarn shopping. I'll pick up some yarn tonight and then have a little funeral in my heart for Joanne. We're not doing too bad for the week. I mean, I guess most of it happened yesterday, but so far we have 12 Sea Stars, 4 dolphins, 2 crabs, a bunch of octos, some ear warmers. Did I miss anything? I definitely thought I would get through more of the pattern pack than I did. But maybe today we'll focus on doing just a couple of each pattern here and there and not making 12 Sea Stars. that was mostly just because I wanted to get through a lot of my tiny cakes of yarn. So yeah, we'll see what else we make today. Please comment down below if you're enjoying these market prep videos. I wish I could be putting out a lot more market day videos, but unfortunately, until it looks like beginning of April, it's just going to be a bunch of market prep and week in my life videos. So I hope they're not too boring. Let me know if you have any feedback for me on things I could do differently. But I am still new to doing this whole YouTube thing, so let me know what you think and what you'd like to see. And maybe I'll try to brainstorm other video ideas. So I'm going to finish out the last of this yarn. It's probably going to give me something similar to this again. So I'll finish this out and then I'll catch up with you once I've decided what else I'm making today. I don't recall where I left you earlier, but I did 2 little seahorses. This was the first one I did. I realized I messed up the mane, so I fixed it on the second one. So we have these 2 little guys to go with our pattern from Crochet Grove. And then I got my first Premier yarn delivery. So I got a little sidetracked with playing with the yarn a little bit. So I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, especially because of how tiny this came out. But I made 1 little axolotl and then 2 little mallard ducks. And I did the weights as well as timed the duck. So it looks like it cost me in terms of materials and labor about $1.50 less than when I do it in Burnet. So I'm debating whether or not I lower the price. I don't have a Burnet one made right now, but it's definitely a lot bigger than how this turned out. So I might lower the price, but also it's the same amount of work. So it feels a little pointless to lower the price. I mean, they are smaller, but it's the same exact pattern. Anywho, I think I'm going to call it a day. So that brings us to the end of our week of market prepping. While I did not get through the entire pattern pack, which I thought I'd at least get through a decent chunk instead of 4 of them, we did make quite a bit of work. And so once I figure out the pricing on these, I will put the number here of how much money I made inventory wise to add to my market inventory. So not a bad start. I definitely need to do a lot of work. I have my next market as of now is, I believe it's April 5th. But at the end of May for Memorial Day weekend, I have a big festival. So I think for that one, I want to make 4,000 at that market. So everyone recommends having double. So I need to have $8,000 worth of inventory by the end of May. I do have quite a bit that I still need to tag and put into inventory. So I'm at 1,500 right now, tagged and put away in the closet. But I probably have at least 500 more. That just needs, most of it's just waiting on photos, but it hasn't been sunny enough for my liking to take the photos, so I haven't yet made them. So I have a bag right over here, and then I also have a box over here of the stuff that needs listings. So I think we're at about 2,000 before this week, and then I'll put the number here on how much I made for the week as well as how much inventory we're at so far. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you were working on while you watched this video. If you have any suggestions for videos you'd like to see while I'm waiting on markets to come around, if you would also leave those in the comments, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!